Hey. What's going on today? I'm here, Herka. How do I sound?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Hey, Caleb. Hey, Doug. Hey, Jay. Hey, Martin. How's it going? Hey, John. How's it going out there, everybody? Hi, Larry. Good. Just working away here, guys. Working on some new updates, of course. Some new features. Big discussions today.
You guys see that new update? Got some affiliate shit going into Schema.
Product. That was nice. Manufacturer and cost and things like that. Pretty cool. Adding a couple of new things today. Gonna make some changes to the wording on what's default schema and what's per page schema. I know there's a little bit of confusion about that, and so we're gonna working on go to the demo site. I still haven't fixed that one. Oops. Yeah, Herc will show you right here, and then we'll get going.
I don't think Brent's rolled the update yet, but
no, 4.7 should be ready tonight.
What we're going to do here, guys, is there's been a lot of confusion about default schema and per page schema. So, like, you know, when you load a per page schema, it's loading schema, but a lot of people aren't sure, is this default, is this per page specific, what is it? So what we're going to do on the next update is when you build a default schema, it doesn't matter how many of them you build. If you build in the default schema tab, so say we add a video schema, and we add a review schema, okay? And we have these three schemas. These are going to be default schemas, and what we're going to do is actually change the color of them and label them as well so that you know that they are default schema, okay? And then that way, when you go to per page to work on your per page schema, your three schemas that were default are going to show up here and be labeled default so that you know that's a default. And then if you want to change a default, I'm going to do this one. If you want to change a default into a per page, all you have to do is open it up, make any edits, and click Save. All right? And then when you click Save, it will then, instead of say default schema, it'll be a different color and say specific schema.
Right.
So that you'll know the difference between what's default on every page and what's, you know, specific to that page. And of course, guys, these are your pages. Sound good? Give me 14,392,768 if that sounds good. But you have to type it in exactly as I said it, otherwise
yeah.
Assume it.
I think somebody got it. Larry got it. I saw a question that real quick we could spend 5 minutes on, maybe it might help someone else. Just wanted to go over creating a schema for local business, and I know we've said it a couple of times, but Herc, if you want to open up a local business schema there and just kind of hit the highlights, website, name, description. A lot of people ask, you know, what do we put in the description? And you know, we tend to say it's just like a meta description, you know, kind of don't keyword stuff it, but be a little bit descriptive about what your site is about and use some LSI in there. I think Herc did an example of his spray foam insulation site last week, and so it's pretty similar to what you have here. You know, basically you could just copy and paste it and you'll be fine.
That'd be a cool test, too.
Just don't be spammy. See where it shows up. There's been a lot of chatter and discussion about, you know, what does Google pick up as, you know, what does it show in the SERPs? Is it your description? Is it your first paragraph? And I've never really
got star ratings on this.
Yeah, star ratings right on. Let's see what that homepage. In terms of defenses, you should always upgrade your splash damage building. So that's, I don't even know where that's coming from. But let's do something here, Hart. Let's put in something really cool for the meta. Excuse me, the schema description. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. And just kind of remember.
This one I was kind of building as a real example for like a vaping, a physical store that sells electronic cigarettes, like those vapors. And this is actually, I was just here on the weekend because I'm trying to quit smoking again, so we were buying a bunch of vapor shit. Mm-hmm. And I used this, and I built a real example of schema here. So the name of the company was actually Temper Vapor House. A description is, this is just a description I made up, but selling the best vaping and e-cig juices and hardware to make your quit smoking journey enjoyable. You can see, guys, that's full of LSIs: vaping, e-cig, juices, hardware, quit smoking. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just a quick, good, solid description that has a bunch of LSI stuff in it.
And what's the difference between the description here and the description on the page in PSSEO? Okay.
So this is what's actually going to show up in Google on their search results. So when I did that site search, okay, so like obviously I did a site search, but these are the title of the site, or of the page, I should say, rather. And then this is the description of the page, and this is the URL of the page. Like, this is the actual Google listing. So the difference, guys, is this is what Google is going to, this is what we're trying to control in Google, right? The title and the description. The URL is going to be the URL. That's always going to show up as the URL. But somebody asked earlier, I think it was Deb, I don't know if she's on the call either, but she asked earlier, is PSSEO what we use to make sure that our titles and our descriptions show up in Google? And what I'll say is, yes, you can control your titles and your descriptions in PSSEO, but that doesn't guarantee that that's how it's going to show up in Google. In my experience, it's very seldom that it doesn't, but with descriptions, Google sometimes takes your description, sometimes it takes a page description. This one's a little more variable than the title, but there's no guarantee that when you serve a title with any SEO plugin, including Yoast, Platinum, All-in-One, and Qzx900 that Google is going to use the title you supplied. Google is going to take what they want, but most of the time your title is going to be okay. Your description is that's pretty variable.
Click through that page in the SERPs. Go back to the SERPs.
I don't know if that page is actually in the SERPs yet, because I just did that a few days ago.
Homepage. What about the homepage on the very first listing?
This was some old post. This site's really a bad example. Spray foam would be probably a better example. Right here. So the page I'll load that actually over here too. So the page that's ranking for the main keyword right now is company and contractors, this page. And remember, I haven't updated the plugin on this. I'm still using the old Qzx900, so I don't even think I have the PSSEO. I do, it's just the old version. But you can see the PSSEO version is Insulation Companies and Contractors in Edmonton, and what's showing in Google is Insulation Companies and Contractors in Edmonton. And then the description, what I have set in PSSEO is our preferred insulation companies and contractors, and in Google it's our preferred insulation companies and contractors. So it did pick up the actual title and the actual description. That's not always going to happen. This is where you control it from, the PSSEO, which I should really update this plugin.
Do it.
I just scared that I got such good rankings. I guess I should believe in my own product enough. Hey, give me a 1 if I should update, and give me a 2 if you guys want to see if this thing just keeps on going, and I'll do whatever you guys want. Update number 1, leave it alone number 2. Oh. Oh. Okay, guys.
I think it'll be fine.
We'll update it. Nesta, yeah, I mean, you should always be updating the plugin, even though I'm leading with a bad example here.
Yeah, you know, I mean, the new versions are basically some new features that people have requested and they want to put on their site, so they upgrade for that reason. New bug fixes are like, oh, your hosting isn't working well with, you know, geotagging for whatever reason, and we've encountered many different reasons that hosting doesn't work, and we have to implement workarounds, which take into account the deficiencies in some hostings, and that's the reason why you would update. But, you know, a lot of times if your site has everything that it needs and is working just fine, and you don't need an updated version, you know, then you don't. You just don't. I know how software is. I've been doing it all my life, and you know, sometimes if it's not broke, don't fix it. But this version is much cooler. Just looks cooler. Does the same thing though.
Dun, dun, dun. We're all good.
Yes, sir.
I updated it and it kept everything nice and fancy. There's a typo in the meta.
I saw that.
What is it? Where is it? Oh,
Installs.
where?
In the meta. The last word. It says installs.
This is going to increase my ranking from number 4 to number 1.
Do it.
There we go.
What's your keyword density? Put it
what keyword? This is actually a good thing to go over, guys. Like that question, Todd, what's your keyword density? This really depends. I could be targeting a lot of keywords here, right? This is just installation, Edmonton. You know, if that was my keyword density is 1.9%. Really what we should do here is I'm going to go to my projects, and we're going to look at the exact keywords I'm targeting for that page and check the densities of everything.
And by the way, guys, I know we're not following the script and going over those videos that are in week 2, but me and Herc were discussing those videos before we started up, and we're like, gosh, that's such basic stuff that we're going to ask you guys momentarily. Like, do you have any questions about name servers? Do you have any questions about the videos that are in there? And if you do, we'll certainly answer them and go over it. But the most important piece I think we have from week 2 is the last video about how to use Hide My Ass and that kind of stuff. So we're really going to touch on that later on, but I know we're not going over what the videos are. I think this stuff is probably for you guys as well, a little bit cooler and more in depth. Right?
I'll definitely, yeah, I'm definitely going to go over the video stuff and tell you. I mean, you guys, I'm the kind of guy that there's always a reason I do things the way I do things, so I'll kind of explain my reasoning behind the order of things that I do, even as far as like, you know, when I set up my hosting before I point my name servers, there's a reason I do that, and I will go over those little things with you, the stuff that I think that's important. But I think most of you know how to set a name server. I think you know how to register a domain. I think you know how to set up hosting, shit like that. I will go over my plugin selections, and I will go over that WP Fresh Start because it really is amazing. I don't know if you guys saw, I added a 5th video to week 2 coaching, bonus video, number 5. And I set up my websites in WordPress now. Once I have WordPress installed, with that WP Fresh Start plugin, I can install all the plugins I want. I can erase all the pages, all the content, set my permalinks. I can do all this cool shit with one click, and it takes me literally, it brought my site setup time on WordPress from half an hour to like 3 minutes, which is really cool. So anyways, I'm just going to get back to this really quickly, guys, and then I will get back to those videos. Todd was just kind of wondering about keyword densities and stuff. This target keyword, I saw somebody thinking, assuming that this is where you put all the keywords you'd like to rank for, like it was a meta keyword or something, so like kind of spray foam and then Edmonton and yada, 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 all that, and that's not what this is, guys. What this target keyword is take any keyword that you're interested in seeing stats for this particular page, and put it in here, and it's going to give you your keyword density for this keyword. It's going to tell you if this keyword is in your title, description, body, your URL, H1, H2, and H3. Like for instance, if I just use the word insulation, there you go. You can see this. It's in my title, description, body, H1. There is no H2 tag on my page. There is an H3, but my keyword is not in it. Okay, so that's kind of how this works. Just looking at questions as I'm going here. So keyword density for insulation wasn't very high at all, and that's good though, 1.5%.
Go spray foam, just spray foam. Nice.
1.15%.
Spray foam insulation. Nice.
0.96%.
Spray foam insulation Edmonton.
0%. This keyword does not appear.
Spray foam contractor.
Yeah, so if you want to know what keywords I'm actually trying to target for this page, it's these two: insulation companies in Edmonton and insulation contractors in Edmonton. So I know that my homepage isn't the one, or when I search for my main keyword, spray foam insulation Edmonton, it's still this page that's showing up. And the reason for that, if I dug into it, maybe we sent a PBN to this page, I could look that up and let you guys know. But if we do this, let's see how that page is ranking for the keywords we're targeting it for. I'm not sure if I said that right, but you know what I mean. Ooh, not on page 1. There it is right there. So it's number 14. So I'm assuming my main keyword is ranking just because of the power of the EMD. That page is ranking because of the power of the EMD. There's the home page. Or maybe it's even because the rich snippets showed up. You can see there the home page doesn't have rich snippets, and every other page does. So it could be that.
Home pages never do. I wonder why they do that.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a little weird.
It is. But for everybody else, your home page will never show those stars.
All right, so that's just a little playing around, guys. Just so you can know what changes are coming up with schema and shit like that. But we will get into these videos now. Let me just load that coaching.
Hey, Ralph, I see your question, and if you have an issue like that, it's probably something to do with your hosting. And we've also been making changes on the geotagging stuff quite a bit, and it seems to be sometimes a moving target for you, for instance. So why don't you hit your ticket over there in the support desk and give us some more information, and make sure you leave your details so we can log in and look. But we've been correcting, or we've been taking into consideration specific environment problems, if you know what I mean. But you know.
Now that had a lot to do with that big post I made, guys, where I said there are literally millions of plugins. Well, there's thousands. I don't know about millions, but there's just hundreds and thousands of plugins, hundreds and thousands of themes, hundreds and thousands of hosts, and that creates literally an unlimited amount of configurations overall. And Pr0J3Ct Supr3Macy has to try to work with all those different configurations, which is almost an impossible thing to do. So when you guys run into sort of issues, without us knowing your whole story, including what plugins are you using, what theme are you using, that's just for having the plugin work correctly. We need to know that. That's why we need to get into your site to really look at that stuff. And then as far as why isn't my site ranking, I mean, we have to know the whole picture of, well, what backlinks have you built? What on-page have you done? What keywords are you targeting? What's your competition? Like, we have to know the whole stories for a lot of these things, which is why we ask a lot of people to send in support tickets so that we can, I mean, we need the whole story to give you an accurate answer there. It's impossible to say, hey, why is my site not ranking? And just look at a site and know without the whole story.
And we're not having entirely too much fun, trust me. We're working hard.
Yeah, this part's not.
No need to be rude. Is it okay to use a domain with a hyphen in it? Sometimes it is, Miss Kim. Sometimes it isn't. Some people rank well with hyphens. I tend to steer clear unless it's just really a keyword you really, really want. I haven't used hyphens with schema yet, and I think would be a great experiment to see how well hyphens plus schema are doing. Because a lot of times, see, hyphens got a bad rap a few years ago being spammy, and Google used to rank them really well, then they stopped ranking them really well. And the same thing goes for a non-hyphenated EMD. They used to rank really, really well all the time, and then they stopped ranking really, really well. But use that in combination with schema, and it seems to work pretty well, as you can see from many of our examples and all that going around. It's working really well. Okay. Go ahead, Herc. Your turn.
Yeah, guys, so let's just pause the questions for 1 second here, and what I'm going to do is I am going to go over this this stuff really quickly with you. I know a lot of it is for you is going to be kind of boring because you know how to do it, but at least you'll get my method, right? You'll understand why I do the things that I do. So back in the first week, I mean, we talked a lot about keyword research, how to find the right domain, how to analyze the keyword and the competition and shit like that. And then I set you guys up with that organizing yourself folder, which the download should be there. It looks like it got overwritten.
No, I think it's right.
Oh, here it is right here.
Yeah, it's right there at the top.
So guys, what this folder is just every time I find a new domain that I register and I build it, I open this folder. Okay, so you can see, I'm going to flash this. I can't show you guys everything, but I put this template website folder in my list of, I have another folder called lead gen sites. You can kind of see on the side here. I have client sites, affiliate websites, lead gen websites. So when I buy a new domain, I'll make a copy of this template website folder and paste it into my lead gen sites, my local, and it's got all this stuff in it. And then you kind of saw in the video that I start setting up all the information, and this helps me keep organized, and I think it's a big important part of things. And that's kind of where we ended last week. So this week we kind of get into, you know, setting stuff up now, setting up your hosting, setting up your name servers. And the one thing that I do, and it's kind of a small thing, is I always set up my hosting first and get my name servers, and then go to the thing and go to my registrar and input my name servers once I have the hosting set up. And the reason I do that is it just propagates faster for me. Like, I know if I set up, if I point my name servers to a web host that doesn't have a website set up, it usually takes me 1 to 3 days for some reason for the cache to clear or whatever has to, like, the DNS has to resolve around the world. I don't know what it is, but if I set up my shit first and then point the name servers, it happens a lot faster. So that's all I'll talk about in that. The fake persona, I should open up one. I'm going to do the spray foam one. Let me pull this out of the way for a sec. The fake persona, guys, is related to getting a Gmail address. I do use a separate Gmail address for every site. I'm going to just open up spray foam here again. All right, so here's an example. Here's the spray foam site. And if I open up my logins, and I've changed all these passwords. I know people were emailing me saying, hey, you know, your passwords are all showing, but I went and changed everything. So the first thing I did, once I set up my email, when I set up sorry guys, I'm just going to try and get my wording straight here so I don't say the wrong thing. When I'm setting up my hosting account, okay, for video 1, I set up that email right away. This is the basic email. It's whatever at the emd.com, at the domain that you're building. So for Spray Foam Insulation Edmonton, the first email I set up was info@Spray Foam Insulation Edmonton. Now I need this email address to get my Gmail address, and I need a fake persona to get my email address. So I need those set up before I go after my Gmail account. So once I have this set up, then I'll go create a fake name using fake name generator just like you guys saw, and then now I'm going after the Gmail address. And then what I'll do is, once I successfully have the Gmail address, and I'll go over how I get it in a bit, once I successfully have that, I forward this email to this one so that from now on I'm always going to use the Gmail address for everything I do. And I just like using the Gmail address because it's just, they have good spam filters, and I can actually I have another piece of email software. Like normally I use Thunderbird, but I also have another one that I use that has all my lead gen sites on it, and I just hook all of my lead gen sites up to that other email software so that I can log in and always see what's going on with all my sites from one place. So I didn't really talk about that in the video, but it's a really good thing to do. And then that way, if I have people submitting my forms or whatever, I know about it because all the emails are coming to this address. All right, so the next thing is, guys, is how to go about getting once you have your fake persona, that's easy, guys. Just go to fake name generator and build one. So let's say I'm building a site in Canada. Okay, I'm going to try and create a fake profile in Canada. So right away, I'll set, country to Canada. Okay, and so for spray foam, this is exactly what I did. And then I go to advanced options and I try and create like an actual real person in Canada that would possibly own a spray foam site. So I'm going to say it's a guy between 31 and maybe 45 years old. That seems realistic for a guy in that age to own a spray foam site. I want an American name set. Gender, well, I'm going to kind of stick with the males. It's a little sexist of me, but whatever. You can choose a female if you want to. It's just the way I do things. And then that's it. So James H. Rivers is a perfectly fine name for me. He lives in Barrie, Ontario. I could switch that if I was targeting like an Alberta site, like I did with Spray Foam Edmonton. All I would have to do is change this to Edmonton, because really, guys, like all you're doing here is you're just recording this information right here, right? It's not actually going to go anywhere until you're setting up the Gmail account. So once you have this information, now you need to set up your Gmail account, and this is the Gmail account's what's going to tie everything together, including the future, like stuff like your social profiles, your call rail account, your phone calls and stuff like that. That's why I really want a Gmail account, and I really want this Gmail account to be targeted to this Robert Delgado guy, and that's why I set up the fake name profile. So what I do is, number one, I look at the location that I'm in or I'm targeting, and like with Spray Foam Insulation Edmonton, I'm going after an Edmonton thing, so I set up my fake profile, and now I got to create a Gmail account. Okay, so because I'm in the States, what I like to do is open up Hide My Ass, and I obviously can't do that right now and actually connect because I'm on the Webby with you guys. Let's see, why did my screen go all blank? I'll open up Hide My Ass a little bit though to just kind of show you what it does. Give me a 1 if I'm still on, because I'm not sure if my screen went blank for a reason or not. Okay, good. So guys, this is what Hide My Ass looks like, and when I'm going to sign up for a Gmail account, the first thing I do is if I'm signing up for a guy in Edmonton, but I'm not in Edmonton, I need to make myself appear to Google like I am in Edmonton, and the way to do that is with like a VPN, like HMA, and I just love HMA. So what I would do is I would come in, since I'm in the States, and be like, all right, I need to get as close to Edmonton with my internet connection as I can. So the one that I see is Vancouver, so I would select Vancouver because I know my geography, and that's the one, and then I would connect to the VPN, and I can't do that because I'm on the Webby and we'll get booted and shit like that. But the idea is, if you are not physically in the location that you are creating your Gmail address for, you need to change your location, and this is going to help you bypass phone number verification. That's why we're doing this. First of all, I think that's important to note. So if you're in Phoenix and you're building a site for Phoenix and you're creating a fake persona for Phoenix and you're in Phoenix, everything lines up in Google's eyes. So when you create it and you say, I'm from Phoenix, you should be able to bypass the phone verification with the steps I show you. But if you're not, you need to align your IP address, and this is how you do it. Does everyone understand that? Give me a 1 if you understand that. Give me a 2 if you do not understand that. Okay, great. Seems like everybody gets that. All right, so I'm not actually going to do that, guys. I'm just going to go to the login. Carol, if like, okay, guys, this is an important question too. Carol asked if you're in another region. Like, say I was in Phoenix, but I was targeting something in New Mexico or even Florida. would I do the same process even though you're within the country but you're out of the state? And the answer is, Carol, if you have that option, it's always safer to use it. Go with the safest option, you know what I mean? But as far as I've seen things, and even with like the limitations of HMA, for instance, I signed up for an Edmonton address with a Vancouver IP. Now that, I don't know if you know Canada, but British Columbia is on the west coast, Alberta's the next province over, and it still worked. So to answer, no, it's not necessary, but if you want to go the safest route, then try and get right into the actual the state that you're in. All right, I'm gonna close this off. So then to create your account, let's assume that I was signed in. You're gonna just go to Add Account, and you're gonna go to Create Account. All right, and this is where you're gonna open up your little folder here, and you're gonna be like, all right, I need to create an email address. His fake name is Robert Delgado. You're choosing your username. I kind of chose Robert Delgado YEG. YEG is the airport code for Edmonton, just to kind of make it look like a semi-real email address. I could have went with Spray Foam Robert or Robert Spray Foam Insulation, something like that. Doesn't really matter too much. Just try to make it look somewhat real. Put in the actual birthday of the guy, put in the actual gender. I skipped the mobile phone, guys, and your current email address. Now this is important, is the initial email address you set up when you created your hosting account. That's why this email address is so important, because you're going to skip the mobile phone, but you want to give Google a backup email address. So now what we have when we're signing up is you're completely lined up with a fake profile with a real birthday, your gender is signed up, you're skipping the phone, your email, you have a backup email address, and your IP is lined up to the location that you're giving. So you can see it's country only. So Carol, that goes back to your question. That's probably why it worked for me when I was in another province in Canada. I was still saying I'm Canadian. So I was logged in with a Canadian IP address, and then I'm saying I'm from Canada. So that's why. And then when I click next step, that's where a lot of people get the give me your phone number and run into those issues, and I don't get them as much. I would say about 1 in 20 now. I'm going to get the phone number, and if that happens, if I do get the phone number, I just quit. I don't continue on. I just quit and come back another day and try with a new Gmail address. And that's how I'm able to bypass the phone number verification on Google. It's by lining up my IP address and providing a backup email address of the domain that I'm going to build on. So does that, give me a 2 if you don't understand that and you need, or just ask me a question that, you know, because the ones, it seems like everyone kind of gets that. It seems, does the email address a private domain matter? Can I use Yahoo as the backup email address? Sam, I haven't tried that, to be honest with you. I've always used, I mean, for the purpose of making everything lined up, if you're going to register the domain name, why not have an actual email address on the domain name? I mean, why would you want this to be a Yahoo address if you're opening up a Gmail address? You know, kind of is what I'm getting at. So, I mean, you can go ahead and try it, but I've always used the actual EMD. Carol says she got an email address, no problem, good. Does this work anywhere in the world, e.g. the UK or a site for the US? Judy, just give it a shot. I don't know, I haven't actually tried this for Australia or any crazy other domains. I work primarily in Canada and the USA for my domains, so you'd have to give it a shot, but I would use the exact same process. Make sure your IP address is lined up using something like Hide My Ass, and then make sure you have a backup email address instead of a phone number. Future logins to Gmail, does that require the use of specific? Good question, Hussein. At that point, so what he's asking is, okay, so let's say you sign up with a Canadian IP address, and then 4 months later you're, you know, requiring access to your Gmail account. Should you log in from a Canadian IP again at that point? And so far, Hussein, no, I haven't, because I believe that I've already established my email address from Canada, and it would be unfair of Google to be like, oh, you're false because you're now logging in from the States or from another country, because people travel, you know, people do shit like that all the time. I haven't had a problem. I don't worry about it. Once I have the Gmail address signed up, and it's specifically because I start actually using that Gmail for real shit, like if I build, social or anything like that, I actually start using the Gmail address and CallRail. I use the Gmail address, so I start getting real emails going through there. I think Google's more worried about it actually being real in that regard than where you sign in from later on after that. So good question though. Is HMA cheaper than buying a new IPA from the location that you want? You guys, I'm giving you my process. Okay, I don't know about other processes. This is what works for me, and that's kind of why I'm telling it to you. Stefan, why is it so important to get a fake Gmail address? This is a great question. Why do you even need a Gmail? He's asking, why bother setting up this Gmail address when you already have this address? And here's why, guys, because eventually, if you want to rank in the local maps and control it with an address you own, this is the Gmail address you are going to use to do that with, because this Gmail address lines up with this EMD domain. And when you build out your business, your Google Plus business page, you're going to verify your EMD with that page. So you're going to have a Gmail and a backup email that everything lines up. The whole story that you're telling is, I'm being honest with you, Google. This is a real business. I'm not lying. I mean, they don't know that you're not actually Robert Delgado, and one day they may catch on to shit like that. But so far, it's been good. So the reason I use a Gmail address is because I do want to eventually build out a Google My Business profile for this EMD. I do want to rank in the maps, so I want to have the Gmail address for that. I also would use this Gmail address to sign up for other social profiles like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever. This would become the central email address that controls this domain. And that's how you're going to control everything too. So like for instance, let's say I was to rent out spray foam insulation, and I'm actually moving, guys, to rent it out. I'll show you something. I did actually just today. You can see the phone number has changed. I used to have a different phone number on there. I actually changed this to a real local number that is now, it's taking real calls, and I'm going to start taking information on the calls that it's getting and moving to sell it. Even though it's out there in training and shit, stuff like that, I'll try and see if I can sell it. But what I'm getting back to the Gmail address thing, it's about controlling the property. So let's say, guys, I rent out spray foam to a company. Let's just call them Company X, okay? So Company X rents out spray foam insulation Edmonton, and they love what's going on. They're getting leads, and then I'm like, well, guys, I can maybe double up your leads if you want a local business listing as well. So then I could go ahead and get that local business listing by building citations. First, I would obviously build the Google Plus business page. I would use the company's address that I'm renting out to. I would use all their information, build out that page, but I'm the one that's in control of it because I own the email address, right? So now if the company screws me over, quits on me, cancels, whatever, I could just change the address, change the phone number, right? Actually, I wouldn't even change the phone number. The phone number would always be the same. This is the phone number that would go on the Google Plus account, because this is a CallRail number. All I'd have to do is change the destination phone number inside a CallRail. So this could always be the same. So when you're building citations, name, address, phone number, you're always going to use this phone number, and that's what's going to help you with your what do you call it? Your consistency, right? Because they always say you want to be sure your same phone number is everywhere. Always use the CallRail number, and when you need to change the direction of it, you change it in CallRail, not on the website and not in Google Plus. So it's about control. I think I explained that. Carol saying, how about when you do anything on your website? And I'm assuming you're meaning, do I have to log in? No, guys. The only time that I use hide my ass for my shit is to sign up for the Gmail account. Once I have the Gmail account and I start running real emails through it, I haven't used hide my ass for other stuff. I work on my site from my regular IP. I work on my social sites from my regular IP. I've been totally fine that way. If you want to be safe, you can go ahead and do that and align yourself. It's going to add a layer of complexity to your building, because now you're going to have to remember, okay, if I'm working on my Edmonton site, I always have to remember to log in to my Canadian IP to work. So I mean, so far I've been okay without doing it.
Yeah, I don't think there's any correlation to working on your website from your IP that you always worked on. It's just when you start messing around with Google properties, you may want to pay attention to that because they will throw up a, hey, confirm who you are. It happens to a lot of people, especially from other countries.
Jason is saying, I've seen 4 accounts in your Gmail. I'm assuming they're all personas. If you mean my login screen, I have, God, I must have like 50 or 60. I'm not running into any issues though. I've been fine. Am I going into social creations later on in a week? Carol, actually, we could do that. I don't have anything. I'll tell you this. For the videos that we have, guys, there's nothing about social account creation in there because I didn't need to create social accounts to get my rankings. And I've always kind of said this if you've been on any like past webinars with me before. Everything that I do on an as-needed basis. And so far for local rank and rent sites, all I've ever needed was good keyword research, project supremacy schema, you know, build the site right, and then a couple of backlinks, if even that. And then I've always ranked first page. I just always have. So I haven't needed to go into those more advanced levels of citations or social. Just hasn't happened. I will cover it though.
Yeah.
I mean, no problem.
It's a good idea to do it.
Paul.
You just popped that, right?
Pardon me?
Paul's asking if you forward that Gmail to your EMD, but you just popped that down, right?
I actually forward this to my Gmail, but I could do that. Yeah, I could use pop. I could go into this Gmail account, guys, and set up a pop feature where it actually goes into this email address and downloads this shit. I just haven't done that because I'm lazy.
Yeah.
It's probably better to do it that way. Well, it is definitely better to do it that way. But no, guys, I use the Gmail. Once the Gmail's set up, that is now the email address for everything that I use. And this gets forwarded so that I don't lose anything. Or like Todd said, you can go into Gmail and set up a pop account to download this actual email into your Gmail, which is probably a better idea, and I should be teaching you that, but I forward it so far. If a client rents my site and ranks with his address on the GMap, will it still rank after the address changes to another client's address later? Yeah, changing your address is normal. Businesses move locations all the time. Just log into your Google, your business, and change your address. I've had a couple clients that I had to switch, and I changed their actual address, and it didn't matter. There may be inconsistencies if you build like citations, guys, but remember, I haven't built citations.
Yeah, you got to keep up with your citations if in that case.
Yeah.
If your citations don't match, then you're gonna tank. They have to be exact.
But if you guys want to know how to get around building citations, don't build citations. Build PBN links to your Google Plus page. Build authority to it without citations, and then you avoid that complexity mess.
True.
And that's always worked for me, guys. I've never built a citation. Well, I used to test them. I built them that way, but it never did anything for me. I probably was doing it wrong. But go with what works, guys. If you don't need that tool to get the job done, then why buy it? When switching from different Gmail accounts in our browser, what would we need to be aware of as Google tracks and traces? Mike Dodd, I know what you're saying. Like I think that's kind of coming back to what Michael was saying. Like when I type in gmail.com to go to log in, you see all these profiles, and I log in. This is me. This is my girlfriend. This is a fake profile. This is Project Supremacy, and I'm doing it all from one browser, all from one IP. I just, nothing's happened. Nothing bad has ever happened. I think there's a lot of fear that exists in the world about things, and
yeah, I think a lot of you are hearing about those tales is from I hear about it from people in Eastern Europe logging into Gmail on various profiles. I do hear it coming from in that regard. Don't know why. I'm not over there, so I don't have any experience, but that's what I hear.
Yeah, I'll always speak to you guys from experience, what I do know that I've seen and personally has happened to me, but as far as what I've heard, I can't really speak. I don't think it's going to do you guys any service to say, well, so-and-so said this or said that. I deal in fact and experience, and that's what I'm going to teach you guys. Martin, for week 2, we talked about the HostGator as the hosting company. So what you guys talked about before HostGator, kind of like how HostGator sucks and stuff. I don't know, man. This has got to be your guys' preference, who you want to host with. Yes, I still host with HostGator. I don't mind HostGator. You know, everybody's got their own opinion on hosting. You're just going to have to choose the shit that works for you and that you like. I know in these videos I shot everything with showing how to set up in HostGator and how I only put, like when I buy a HostGator account, I'll only put a maximum of 3 of these rank and rents per unlimited hosting account, because when I start backlinking them, I don't want to backlink to the same HostGator name server with all my PBNs, because then I'm starting to create a footprint, and that's why I do that. Hosting though, once again, guys, personal preference. I don't have a problem with HostGator. It works for the little, like what I'm building here, guys, is such a little tiny site, you know what I mean? I'm not worried about all these extra things that a lot of other people worry about. As long as Project Supremacy works, I'm pretty happy. Will I eventually have a Facebook profile? Steve, if I need it. If I was having trouble with Spray Foam Edmonton in the rankings, the steps that I would take is obviously number 1 is build the site, like I said, do the optimization, put in the schema, see where I settle. If on-page optimization wasn't enough to get me to page 1, which oftentimes it is not, the next step is PBNs for me, and I'll start, and we're going to cover that in, I think next week we're going to cover how I'm linking and linking anchor texts and shit like that. But the next step is, you know, I'm going to start sending in PBNs to the site to give it some authority, because I know my on-page is good. I've gotten pretty good at on-page. Now I just need the site to have authority over other sites. So I'm going to start sending in PBNs. And typically, guys, it takes me about 3. I'll go on the kind of conservative end. Usually it takes me about 3 to 5, but I'll say 3 to 10 just to be conservative. It only takes me that many links, and I've been hitting page 1 a lot of the time. But if that didn't work, if I built 10 links and I was liking my anchor text profile and shit and it still wasn't working, then I would build the social profile. I would build 3 of them. Okay, I'd build a Facebook, a Twitter, and a Google Plus page. And I would PBN to those 3 things, and each of those 3 things I would link all them to themselves and all them to the money site, and I would verify everything with the money site as well. So if you guys know, there's verification services for everything. I'd get everything verified for those sites. So Facebook, this is the official page for Spray Foam Insulation Edmonton. Twitter, this is the official, you know, I'd verify that shit. Then I'd link to the social profiles, which have already been linked to the site. Then, if that didn't work, then I'd start with maybe citations. But I've just never even gotten that far out. To be honest, guys, I'm not that good of an SEO. I just work on really easy shit, and it makes money. It works. Why make your job tough? I rank for some tough shit too, though. So is the end goal to rent the site to a business, or rather local leads to sell the business? BJ, the end goal is really to make money. So how you do it is going to be up to you. My personal preference is, like, when I go out and I start hoping to sell this site, I want to sell it as a one-off payment. I'll be like, listen, I'll give them the stats of the site, okay? And it's going to come down to a very, very simple conversation that'll go something like this. Hey, I own the #1 ranked site in Google for spray foam insulation Edmonton. This site is currently getting about 30 phone calls a month, and it's for rent. I know your business is in the spray foam insulation business. Would you like the #1 ranked site with 30 new phone calls a month? Yes or no. If they say yes, what's the price? Then, you know, I'll be like, all right, that's where you start kind of showing them, you know, a little bit about their business. You're like, well, I know your average job is costing anywhere from $3,000 to $6,000. Your net profit on that is probably, you know, around $2,000. If you can close half those calls, half of 30 calls is 15 new calls. If your net profit is $2,000, that's worth $30,000 to you. I'll sell it to you for $2,000 a month. How's that sound? That's kind of how that conversation would go. Of course, they always say their own shit, and you have to be able to speak back. But yeah, the end goal is to make money, and my personal preference is I like a one transaction site. You give me $1,500 a month. I give you the site. You take all the leads. Just easier than setting up like a lead payment system and then arguing over, well, is 45 seconds a call or is a minute a call? And then sometimes the guys are like, well, you know, like, you left a message, you know, and all these fucking little fights that start happening over a second, you know, on a phone call where they're trying to save a buck. Because I guarantee you guys, everyone's going to try and save a buck. That's why I don't do lead gen that way. I do full on. I like one check, one transaction. Nesta, callrail.com is who I use for these phone numbers. Let me see if that's in the training.
You know, when I had my financial lead company, I used to you know, really get into, you know, because we sold per lead, and we would have a section for, you know, returns for, you know, hang-ups or disconnected numbers and things like that, just bogus leads basically. And you know, you can sit there and investigate, spend all your time worrying about that and you know, arguing with the people. And I just got to the point where, you know, at the end of the month, I would just look at how many they returned. And if I didn't think they were being fair about it, then I would just close their account and sell their leads to someone else.
Yeah, it's control, right?
Yeah, you know, I mean, that's how you spend your time, what you want to do. And I got to the point where, you know, I didn't have time to argue. And if I just didn't think you were being fair, then you just got cut off.
Yeah.
And I would warn them too, though. I'm like, hey, you know what? I think you're being a little too picky about your returns. And so if you keep that up, I'll have to close your account and sell them to your competitor. I mean, I had a lot of buyers though too, so that always helps to make that decision.
Just gonna open something up.
That always happens.
The CallRail setups. I mean, I guess I could cover it right now. I was gonna cover it like in week 6. Like CallRail, really, guys, you don't want to set up this. I'll tell you this right now. You don't want to set up this phone number and start paying for phone calls unless you're ranked number 1. At least on the first page. Like I'm ranked number 4 for this keyword on Google, so I mean it makes sense to start collecting data now because this site is ready to be sold. But until you're getting, you know, traffic, like in a good amount of traffic based on your keyword volume, there's no point in paying for a call tracking feature on your site. That's once again, everything in the right order, guys. And that's why we're presenting these videos to you in the order that we are. It's like, look, this is the exact process, and this is why the process is laid out the way it is. It's going to save you money. It's going to save you time. That's why I do the thing. So I will cover the CallRail tracking. I just don't think I'm going to cover it right now because it's not really relevant at this stage in the game. What you guys need to be worried about is picking the right keywords and getting your site ranked. But CallRail, to answer your question, callrail.com is who I use. Do I build a Facebook page and Instagram page? We kind of covered that already, Graham. CallRail versus Twilio, Paul. I'm gonna add, you guys, all the stuff I use is what I use. I haven't used a lot of other stuff, to be honest. I kind of got lucky with the first shit I picked, so I don't really have any feedback on the differences between certain things. I'm sorry about that. Martin, what backlinks do I add to your site? I have a private PBN that I built, and I use my own backlinks. But we're towards the end of the 6-week coaching. We're gonna have some good shit for you guys for how to rent backlinks, how to find backlinks, whether you want to buy them, and then I think even Todd's gonna take you through some awesome coaching on how to build your own PBNs and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, what happens when people are calling the number and you don't have a site yet, or you don't have a client? Nothing. Collect data. Right now, this is a real phone number. And once again, guys, this is kind of training it's out of place right now. We're not worried about what's going to happen. Like, let's get the sites ranking. I will answer this, but just remember, guys, let's keep things in order. But what happens is, you guys can go ahead and call this number and see what happens. It's a real number. But what else it's going to do is kind of go right to voicemail, no matter what you do. I have a little menu set up there. Press number 1 to talk to one of our quotation specialists, or press number 2 to have general inquiries, but they both go to the same voicemail. Nobody's ever going to answer that phone call, and the reason why is I'm just collecting data. until the site is sold, these leads will go to the garbage, unfortunately. I mean, I could do better shit than that. I know there's people out there that say, send these leads to a company and then call them later and tell them that. That's just not the way I roll. If I was going to do that, I'd tell the company that I'm sending them leads. But I mean, that's just the way I do things, guys. It's your business. You get to do things however you like. Yvonne, will my videos teach how to build a site correctly? Yes. Actually, next week we're going to go into the pages, basically all the keyword stuff, guys. I'll go to this, projects. Next week's training that we're going to release these videos today is going to go over all this shit, this is why the site ranks. I'll tell you that. On-page optimization and keyword selection. If you don't pick the right keywords, you're hooped. And if you don't optimize your site for the right keywords, you're hooped. And this is what the project planner is for. It's going to help you pick the right keywords. It's going to help you build the right pages for all those keywords, organize everything, and then optimize the site. And then you put schema on it, and you should end up in the first 3 pages of Google with a brand new EMD. And that's next week. In the video, in the instructions, tells us to forward the EMD to the Gmail. Yes, that's correct, Paul. Forward the EMD email to the Gmail. The Gmail is what I use for everything. Joshua, would I suggest waiting to make our site nice until it starts to rank? Will the appearance of your site have anything to do with the ranking? I mean, mine looks fine, but super basic. If you guys remember, I don't know if you saw through some of the webbies that Todd and I were having, spray foam insulation was basically the 2016 WordPress theme up until it was ranking. And then once it ranked, I called my graphic designer and I was like, dude, I need to design, the site's ranking. So save your money on design. I don't personally believe that design, other than things like site load speed, but guys, we're talking about if ranking factors were taken, you know, if you take a list of the ranking factors and you look at site load speed, how much of 100% does that matter? To me, it's like a 1%. Like your site, unless your site's freaking terrible and it takes 2 minutes to load. But as far as like, is it enough of a ranking factor to really screw me up because I'm using a shitty theme? No, I don't think so. Just use 2016, rank it, and then put on a nice, you know, put on a skin, a nice design once it's ranking, because then it matters. Because then now, if you're going to try and sell it, you want it to look good. This thing looks like a frickin' brochure. I love this design. Carol, there's no footprint for logging into your regular Gmails and your persona emails at the same time. I haven't seen one, personally, no. I mean, why would Google care if I have a million email addresses? They have more opportunity to make money through selling me ads in all my Gmail addresses, right? Google's a business. They want to make a money. What about citations? Dan, I hope you were around when I talked about all that shit. I do everything in order. So definitely watch the replay. I talk about the order of things that I do. Citations would be like the third thing I did after PBNs and social. Jason, do I ever upload my data to Google My Drive for backup? I do something like that, but I don't use Google. I use Dropbox. They're probably owned by Google. I avoid giving all my information, like my login shit and like stuff like that, to Google, but I use Dropbox.
Yeah, don't put it on Google.
Don't put it on Google. That's the same thing with like my PBNs, guys. I do have a master spreadsheet of all the links I've ever built from what site to what site. If Google ever saw that, they could just wipe me out in a single click. So that stays on. That stays local. Okay, Paul. If my instructional video said to forward Gmail to EMD, that is incorrect. It is definitely. Gmail is the account you want to use for everything moving forward, so you forward your EMD email to your Gmail. Sorry about that in the videos, guys. Will I go over PBNs? Carol, yes, later on. Where do I buy PBNs from? That is a future training. How many websites am I renting out right now? That's private information, Bill. Sorry, buddy. Say that again. Build PBNs to your Google+. Kim, I think what you're referring to is, okay, so Kim's question was, I think I was talking and she said, can you say that again? Do I build PBNs to my Google Plus instead of building citations in order to rent it? Like Google Maps, yeah. I've never built citations except for when I was testing. If I wanted to rank in Google Maps, I could still use PBNs. That's what I have used. Cedric, if people call the number, everyone's getting really excited about the call tracking stuff. You know, it's because this particular part of the course is so boring. How do you set up WordPress? Who cares? It's like, tell me the goods. I understand why you guys are like wanting to move ahead fast. I do. I'm going to resist the urge to answer all your questions. No, there's not a real company yet renting this site. I don't know, guys. This spray foam site, to be honest, is such a wicked market. It is such a good keyword. You guys saw that from the first videos. This site could be rented out for around $2,000 a month. The only problem is there's hundreds and hundreds of people that know about it and are looking at it, and that's trouble. I mean, if I rent this to a business and some guys start negative SEOing or doing all the crazy shit that they do, and I lose the site, and it'll just piss off a business. So it kind of sucks because I mean, I did intend to create these videos all the way from finding the site to selling the site, but I'm to be honest, a little hesitant if I want to actually sell the site. I am setting up for it, but hopefully you guys are all cool enough, and everyone that's seeing the videos is cool enough to not do anything to, you know, make the site suck or de-index it or anything, because I won't be able to sell it if that happens. And then if I do rent it, maybe someone will get jealous and be like, I gotta knock you down a peg, and then I have to not get paid for it anymore. I like your theme for your site with a call to action in the title. This is a custom theme. I have a designer, guys, that I work with now. For anyone that, you know, you're not really in my position to spend a lot of money on like custom themes and designers and shit like that, just use like B themes or, you know, Aveda, Divi Builder. Make a nice enough site once it's ranked. Again, make a nice enough site that you can try and do something with it, and then maybe in the sales process you can tell the guy, you know, after you've rented it for a month, I'll update the site with a designer shit. But you could go to like freelancer.com and I mean, there's a million places you guys can go find a designer and get a site built like this for like $300 to $500. Carol, how long do I wait to decide if it's been long enough to do PBNs? I always kind of give it at least 2 to 3 weeks when I make some big change. So like for instance, when I build a site, put content on it and put schema on it, I will wait a good long while to see where it settles. Like it bounces around a lot at first because Google's trying to figure out what the hell to do with it. So I'll wait until it flatlines. And then once it flatlines, then I'll build PBNs to get it to boost up again. So quite a while, 2 to 3 weeks, if that's a while. Can you have multiple money sites on the same host using PBNs that are on different hosts to link to them? Or is it a problem to use the same PBNs to hit multiple money? It just, Joshua, you can do it like that. You can have like, say, 3 money sites on one host and then use 9 PBNs to supply 3 links each to each one of your money sites, as long as they're all on different hosts, because you don't have a pattern there. But the difficulty is that what happens when you now have 10 money sites, and what happens when you don't have enough PBNs? Like you start getting, it just becomes kind of a complexity to watch to see if you have any linking patterns. Keep spreadsheets and stuff like that to make sure you're keeping things down. I don't overly worry about that stuff, guys. I mean, I'm not that crazy. I guess I should be maybe, but I just haven't got burnt yet. I've been very lucky. I'm either lucky or I know what I'm doing. I'm not sure which one it is. Like, I've just seen so many people get, like, I went through that whole thing with, like, guys with, what was that host, Todd, that got smoked? That PBN host, IP Networks.
All right.
People on there got just murdered about 6 to 8 months ago. They were losing like 30, 40, 50% of their PBNs. And I think I had something like 80 some on there, and I lost like 3. And they weren't even good sites. They weren't even PBNs that I had set up yet. They were just hosted there, and they got de-indexed for having no content. Hey, it's because I use Spider Spanker.
There you go.
I use Spider Spanker on every single blog, guys.
Yeah, I'll save you.
It's a good investment.
Thanks for the plug.
It's a good tool.
Yeah.
If you guys ever want, go check out Spider Spanker. This is what I use to block access to my my PBNs when I don't want other people seeing them. SpiderSpanker.com. with a Y. So this is Todd's. And actually, guys, funny enough, the reason I even ever went and talked to Todd about, hey, man, can you help me out with Project Supr3Macy, was because I was using Spider Spanker, and I was like, shit, man, this guy's good. Like, this shit is good. I need to talk to this guy. So once I started using Todd shit, this was like, Todd's the guy for Project Supr3Macy, man.
Yeah, this is one of my crazy creations. Probably like 8 or 9 years ago, I came up with this, and a crazy name, I know. I was just being funny one day, talking to one of my buddies about it. We didn't have a name, and I was being a smart ass and said something about spanking the spiders, and there was the name. I was thinking swatting them, swatting them back, like swatting the spiders away, And I'm like, nah,
Yeah.
that's too tame.
I like Spider Spanker.
Yeah.
It's a good name.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool little plug-in. It does well. It'll help protect your sites from a lot of things. It also integrates with Project Honeypot, which is a real-time IP lookup of known hacker servers that are breaking into people's stuff. Because hackers don't use their own computer to do it, right? They use bastions. So yeah. All right.
Stuart's for next week, could you cover a good source of PBN? Yeah, I mean, Stuart, we'll cover PBNs when we're at that part of the coaching course.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah,
We've got a whole course on it. And, you guys probably already know I was probably the first pioneer of private blog networks starting back in 2003. Yeah, so a lot of experience with PBNs over here. Most of it.
And they are, guys, for me, they have been an important part of me being able to rank stuff. So it is, we will cover it. We're just not going to cover it right now. Because you guys need to learn how to set up your name servers. Okay, so somebody asked if I will show how I set up those 4 pages like this project for Project Supr3Macy, wherever it was. Yes, the answer is yes. I think that's next week. Martin, you like that I haven't used citations? So do I, dude. Guys, one thing I see a lot, there's so many tactics out there, right? There's so many SEO tactics. And it's kind of like you could get lost in trying to learn new tactics and apply new tactics. And it's almost like when you go to a grocery store and you're shopping for frickin' toothpaste, and there's like a 50 million brands of toothpaste, and all you want to do is frickin' brush your teeth, but then you kind of get stuck in this like, well, do I need fluoride, or do I need these like mouth fresheners, or do I need tooth whitener, or do I need sensitive? It's like, who gives a shit? Just pick a frickin' toothpaste and go brush your teeth. You know what I mean? Move on. And that's kind of how I feel with SEO tactics, guys. Like, the things that are really, really important, and I'm going to say this again and again and again and again, and you'll hear me say it so much because it's so important. Number 1, do good keyword research. Number 2, do good on-page optimization. Number 3, put schema on your site. Okay. Number 4, use some good frickin' PBNs. That's all I do. And even that goes as far as plugins too, guys. That toothpaste analogy is the same with frickin' WordPress plugins. There's a million. There literally is a million. I use like 4. I don't overcomplicate shit anymore. And I know, and I apologize if I sound really like angry or crazy about this. It's just I say this so much, and people still are like, what about this and what about that? And less is more in my book, guys. Like I found something that works, and I stick to it until it stops working. Until it stops working, I'm always going to do this. And when it stops working, I'm going to go back to testing mode and figure out what works, and then I'm going to stick to it again. All right, sorry about the rant. I got all crazy about that shit. You should hear Marissa. Because Marissa, we had our first, after Todd and I released Project Supr3Macy, Marissa, my VA, and I haven't actually had a chat in like a couple months, and I guess I was so fed up from like certain things that were happening with Project Supr3Macy and the support desk and dealing with rude people that she actually thought I was a meaner person. She said, You've changed.
That's funny.
Yeah. I was like, oh, no, I haven't changed. I'm still a nice guy. It's hard, guys. I'll tell you this. It's hard to answer the same question 4,000 times, so please forgive me if I ever get a little more angry than I should. John, no, you can't see backlinks on the spray foam site because I use Spider That's one of the things I wanted about this, guys. I don't want people knowing. I don't want no one knowing my shit. I don't want you to know how. Like,
you do not want your competition to be able to find your links because they'll destroy them. They'll go and do whatever they can to destroy those domains that you've spent a lot of time, money, and effort on. So.
Hi, Tennille.
Hi.
Hi, Tennille.
She can't hear you. I'm in headphones. Tennille, you want to come on the Webby? Give us a 1, you guys, if you want to hear Tennille on the Webby.
No.
Oh, they can hear you anyway.
No.
That's my girlfriend. We should put her on camera.
Oh, stop. Oh, Lord.
All right, I'm going to get back where we were at. Everybody's asking questions about PBM. You guys are asking about all the good shit because you're advanced. That's what I like about you guys. You know the shit that we're trying to teach. So,
yeah.
Where was I? I was at like Mandip, Oliver, Martin, Fred. Okay, so Fred, okay, here we are. I'm at 4:51, Todd, 4:51 p.m., Fred Spencer. The customer who's renting my site, all he gets is phone calls from customers, correct? Client who's renting has no input to the site. No, Fred, no, I do give them, like, for this site, if I work with a company and they want to change the logo to their logo and stuff like that, I'll definitely do that. I want the site to look a little bit like their brand. So, I mean, I get it to this level to show them that, you know, I kind of have a nice business and I'm serious about what I do and I make nice looking sites. But if you want us to change the color scheme and you want us to put your name and shit on here, I will brand it to their brand because they're going to have their website plus a rank and rent. And if they're both ranking on the first page, that's really, really cool. But if they don't rank on the first page and you do, I mean, you might turn yourself into another sale for a client if you do really good work and shit like that. So I definitely am flexible with the client on changing certain things on the site. If they go nutballs, I would just charge them. I'd be like, look, if you want a whole new site, I mean, I gotta charge you for that.
Mm-hmm.
So Daniel says, even though you rent the whole site, you can still use your phone number with CallRail. Yeah, Daniel, all this CallRail, all this number does is it forwards this number to wherever I want it to forward to. So let's say that the customer's actual business phone number was the same phone number, but it was actually 4351, just to make it easy. It probably isn't going to be that. But all I do in CallRail, this is the number that CallRail supplied me, as I tell CallRail, when people call this number, actually forward this phone call to 4351 because that's the actual business's phone number. And then their phone rings, they talk, and then a recording of the call gets stored inside of CallRail, and I get a copy of the call, and the customer, or my rank and rent customer, gets a copy of the call, so that we're both accountable to each other. So if he's ever like, shit, man, this thing sucks, you know, I'm not getting any calls, I'll be like, dude, we got like 13 calls last month. And you got the emails, I got the emails, and you have access to the control panel, so do I. So they can't screw with you that way.
Yeah.
Martin's directing this question at you, Todd. Where do you get your customers to sell your sites to?
Page 2.
Page 2, baby.
Page 2 and page 3.
Go to your Client Hunter tool, guys, in Project Supr3Macy, the SEOCC tools that Todd gave you guys, the Client Hunter shit. That's a killer way to find new clients.
Mm-hmm.
Page 2 and page 3 is like, that's where I definitely want to start.
Yeah.
Another thing, guys, is your friends. I mean, everybody has a friend that knows a mechanic or knows everybody. Go to your friends. Travis, do we need a Facebook page? Nope. Spray foam doesn't have a Facebook page, but it's ranking. Does it need one? Will it hurt? Nope. Do I need it right now? Nope. So it's kind of like, what's it for? You know, what's the Facebook page for? Am I going to use it to make my brand look more real? I could do that. Do I need to? No. Do I need it as a second tier property to link to? You know, just always like, just remember why you guys are doing the things you are doing. Don't do them because you're told to or not told to. Do them because you know what they're for, kind of thing. And Facebook can be used for a lot of things. I mean, maybe you want to run sponsored ads, so you'd need a Facebook page, or maybe you want to, I don't know, share shit with your friends, so you need a Facebook page. But as far as for ranking, no. Not yet, anyways.
BJ has a pretty decent question I want to comment on, and I've heard it asked before, but I got something to say about it because I've done this before. Because we were talking about call rail, I figure I will ask, what do you do with the call to request when you don't have a customer yet to sell them to? You know, a lot of times I will, when I'm ranking a site for rent, forward it to my phone number, and I'll answer the call. And if I notice, you know, I know where it's coming from, right? So I know what to say. And I'll just take their name and number down. It's a call for the service. And then I'm like, okay, well, thank you. We'll have someone call you back as soon as possible. And then, you know, you may or may not already have someone set up to call up and say, you know, something, but call up a target that you think might be interested in renting this site from you later on and say, hey, I got a lead for you. You want it? You think they're going to say no, go to hell, hang up? No, they're going to be like, what do you mean? And then if you've already got that relationship going, you say, hey, this guy just called me. Here's his name. Here's his number. Call him up. They want some service. And that person says, okay, great, thanks, bye. You know, whatever happens after that happens, but that person will become your friend real quick if you're sending them live good leads. And then, you know, as the volume grows and it's, you know, you're ready to sell it, you know, that's your first contact to sell the leads to or to sell the site to.
Am I muted? Hello?
No, you're back.
Yeah, guys, that's a good point. I mean, you can be as creative as you want to, and if you want to take advantage of early leads while you're ranking the site that do come in, you can do that stuff. Definitely. Mm-hmm. Even if you're doing what I'm doing, like you can see here, guys, I've logged into my call rail dashboard. This is for the spray foam site, and this is me testing my call flows and shit like that. You guys can just take this data and use, you know, like, okay, on the 9th I got 2 calls, on the 10th I got 3 calls, and all that shit. You know what I mean? Like you're building a case to sell your site is really what I'm getting at when you're collecting data. So if you want to do what Todd just said and also kind of prime someone for when your site's really getting call volume, you can. You absolutely can. But I mean, you definitely don't want to miss the opportunity to collect the data of the amount of phone calls. We're not even going to have any training left when we get to this part.
The bottom line is it's 10 minutes more work on your part. But will it establish a relationship with someone? Yes, absolutely. And do you need those relationships that someday whenever you're going to go pitch to sell the site? Yeah, it helps. Helps a lot. So by all means, 10 minutes. Sometimes you may miss the call. It's no big deal. But
I just realized I showed my actual phone number. Do not call me, please, or text me for help. I think you guys are cool like that, but shit, if I would have showed that on a public webinar, my fucking phone would start ringing.
Here's another tip. I'll go ahead and drop out here. You ever heard of Ring Partners?
Not I.
Go to ringpartners.com.
All right.
Now, I know everyone on here is going to go jump all over these ditches now. But Google that or something. Maybe I'm
partner.
Yeah, exactly. So there are a few different companies such as this one where all you have to do is build the site in a niche that they service and put their phone number on that page, and they pay you a percentage of the deal.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yes, really. Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. There's a few of them like this out there. And there you go. Buy calls, generate calls. So
Maybe we'll test this out on spray foam.
They may not be in that market, but
Right.
there are several markets that they're in, and there are several different. This isn't the only game in town. Ring Partner's not the only game in town. There's, what you want to do is look up pay per call. Okay, pay per call, and you can use some of these. Now you're not going to get as much money, obviously, is if you sell the deal yourself. But this is a good way to get when you're getting started with the site, and you're working on it, and it could generate you, an extra $50 a month, let's just say, on some, when you start ranking on some strange term that you don't know you're ranking on. So that's just another good tip that you can use, and it'll give you some ideas of some decent niches. Now, mind you, everybody that's a Ring Partner client is going after the same niches.
Yeah, but they don't have Pr0J3Macy.
They don't. They do not. They're shooting in the dark.
This is, guys, like, this is awesome. Like, I didn't even realize this. So, like, this makes my head spin. Like, every time Todd and I get together and something like this happens, it just all of a sudden we start getting like all these crazy ideas. And one right away is like what Todd just said. You could even go do that search like what Todd just said. Go to pay per call, start looking up these companies, possibly start looking at the niches they're in, and then do the keyword research the way we taught you guys, and find a site, find a back door that nobody's really saw yet. You know what I mean? Right. And go after these guys' best shit and rank the sites better than everybody else, and then make money that way. That's just another way. That I immediately, as soon as Todd showed me this, that's immediately where my head went. And I probably will do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it is a really killer way to, if spray foam, let's say for instance, guys, spray foam did qualify area-wise for a company like this. Yeah, man, throw it on there. Let yourself make a few bucks while you're ranking the site.
Mm-hmm.
With Atlanta Doula, I kind of threw some like ClickBank shit on there. And then I kind of abandoned the site to move on to other things. But yeah, good. That's killer shit.
Yeah. They have these blenders.
Hey guys, give me a 1 if you didn't know that. If you did not know that, give me a 1 about this kind of stuff. Look at that, Todd.
Oh, wow.
All you guys that are saying 1s right now, this is cool shit. This is a whole new way to make money. Even I gotta put a 1 on there too. I gotta put a 1. Here's my 1. Bam.
Yeah, and just know, do your research, I guess, and find the best paying, avenue in that niche. Give them a call, especially if you're starting to do volume. Just, go call them up and say, hey, look, you're seeing some volume from me, and I want to raise, or I'll go somewhere else. You can negotiate that way, but at the end of the day, they got to make their cut too, right, and things like that. So just keep those things in mind. But this is what I like to use, especially when I'm first starting out building a site. And then if it makes a little bit of cash, then great. And then, because what's funny is you'll start seeing the commissions on that and the calls coming, and you're like, well, where the heck am I ranking at? It's that term that you didn't target, and that you didn't, unless you're paying attention, right? Unless you're really paying attention to your keyword refers and things like that, or you're tracking, every single keyword under the sun for that blog. You may not know that you're ranking for something, and you are, and you're actually getting some decent calls. So,
yeah,
and that way you don't miss any.
There are actually. I'm going to pull this up while you're talking about that. I know a lot of people ask how do you check your ranks and stuff like that. The service I use is ProRank Tracker, and they actually recently, they're getting better and better. They actually just recently added that feature. I think what they use is SEM rush data to find out what keywords you're ranking for that you're not actually even targeting within ProRank Tracker. I'll show you guys that for spray foam. Actually, it's really cool. And then I see some more cool questions. I also want to go over that hide. God, so many things. Not hide my ass. The WP Fresh Start before we end this, so you guys see how fast that thing works. Ranking discovery.
We're actually hoping to add all this stuff into Pr0J3Macy in the near future. As a service.
Oh man, that'd be cool.
As a service, of course. We got to pay for the data. But we're researching.
Oh, you mean the ranking stuff?
Yeah, we're researching all that.
Yeah.
I've got some pretty.
Wouldn't that be cool, guys? If like you log into your Project Supremacy and you go look at your project, right? The thing that you set up, and then your ranking, and then you just open it up, and you're like, where's my keyword ranking? And then you look, and it shows you your ranking and shit. We don't know if it'll go here or whatever, but
Yeah.
to know your ranking.
It's going to be two phases of it. The first part is each individual blog will have its own data regarding rankings, and then in your PS2 members area, you will be able to see every single blog that you have it installed on and its data and how it's doing.
So these are all keywords I'm ranking for that I didn't specifically know. So you can see contractors in Edmonton. That's crazy. I'm ranking for contractors in Edmonton.
Wow.
That's not even spray foam. That's actually just contractors. That's a whole new rank and red site. So I'm in the top 20 for that. Edmonton contractors. There you go. Spray foam Edmonton. Top 30, top 30, top 50.
You know what to do at that page right there, contractors in Edmonton? You use WP overlay and create a lander that says what kind of contractor are you interested in, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you fill out a form and then, pass it off to someone to go sell that lead or something like that.
Look at this, guys. I'm top 100 for insulation contractors. Oh, that's in Australia. Somewhere it's a global search term of 3600, and for some reason in Australia I'm ranking decently. Just interesting stuff, just cool shit. Anyways,
let's get these questions. We've only got
yeah.
20 more minutes, and then it's dinner time.
Okay, the plugin. Someone's asking about what plugins I use. We're going to cover that right now. Okay, so Kismet spam blocking plugin. I always just kind of keep that on there. I think it's usually defaulted on a lot of installs, depending who you host with. It's just spam block comment stuff, and I definitely always use that. Contact form 7, so that I can have when people submit a contact, like the form. Let me get there. All these little contact forms that you guys see all over the site, like get your free obligation no quote. I use contact form to send myself a copy of that email, and then once I get a client, it'll forward a copy of that email to him as well. This is my designer. He used Cornerstone. So my Google XML sitemaps, we did have it in Project Supremacy for a bit. We've removed it because this plugin is kick-ass and works perfectly well, and it's free. Official stat counter I use to track my statistics on statcounter.com. I just really like them. I like their UI, their user interface. I like it. If I needed webmaster tools on the site, though, I could get stats from there as well. Obviously, Project Supremacy, and then simple video sitemap generator for video sitemaps. That's it. That's all I've ever used. I don't go all crazy. I don't even worry about security plugins and speed load plugins and all that shit, guys. Like, I really strip it down to its bare essentials. I really, really do. And I will show you WP Fresh Start. I'm going to actually add that. Give me a 1 if you have not seen the video about WP Fresh Start. Give me a 1 if you have not seen that video. Just so I know. John definitely has not seen it. He's got 5 ones in there. It's like, okay, let me show you what this does, guys. Real quick. Let me hide some stuff. Whoa. Okay. Well, definitely go to your coaching course, guys. And in week 2, I added bonus 5 video. I'm going to install this right now real quick just to show you what it does. But definitely go watch that bonus video in week 2, and that's kind of going to be the same thing as what I showed you here. But this WP Fresh Start is such a kick-ass plugin. I love it. Okay, I'm going to pull this out for 1 second while I activate it so you guys don't see my key because everyone will steal it. But I also want to say I really, really commend you guys for not, so far with all the webbies and stuff that we've done, I have had a couple of API keys slip through. I have had a couple of phone numbers, a couple of websites. Nothing shitty has happened yet with anything. Like nobody ate up all my API credits and stuff. So thank you guys so much for really being respectful of that stuff. I really definitely got to thank you guys for that because, oh man, I've seen some not so good stuff happen to others. Okay, sorry guys, I'm just grabbing the key for this. Oh great, there it goes. So that I can show you. It's only going to take me about 2 minutes to show you what it does, guys, once it's activated. Oh, it already is, cool. Okay, I'm bringing her back. So when you load it and activate it, guys, this is what's going to show up. Like this is the #1 first plugin I put on the site, okay? This WP Fresh Start. So once I have WordPress installed, I log in, I install WP Fresh Start, and then I go click this little icon here and activate it, and then watch this, guys. Delete posts, delete pages, delete comments. If you want to create an About Me page, I also, here I'll show you exactly what I do. I create a privacy page, I create a terms of use page. I do not create an earnings page because I'm not doing any AdSense stuff, but if I was, I'd create that. I skip the contact us page because I use contact form 7. I set my permalinks to post name. I stop new comments. I stop comment moderation. Okay, if you wanted to create any post categories, you could, or if you wanted to create any blank pages, you could. I don't do that because Project Supremacy. And then this one's really nice. Install multiple plugins at once. And then I click that, and then you have to enter the list to where the zip file, to where the plugin zip is. And I gave you guys that in your coaching course, the actual text file that you could plug in there. And then all you do is click start, and it does all this shit for you, and it installs all your plugins for you, and it happens in like 2 minutes in your whole website. Because I used to do every one of these steps manually, and I'm sure you guys do too. But this is one click, and it does all this shit for you. And the plugin's like, I think it's like $30 for an unlimited license. So definitely watch week 5 video, guys. I actually go through the setup. It's really just this, and then you click go, and it's done. And it's so awesome. It's $20 for an unlimited license, Martin says. The link's in your coaching page, John, under the video. I think I have it on there. Let me just check. I'm supposed to be doing right by you guys, but I may not have put the link up. Let me see. Do I uninstall WP Fresh Start after the install? Yeah, you could, Angelo.
I released week 3.
Oh, people are going to go watch. Oh, that's okay. There's the hide my, yeah, right here, guys, under PS Coaching Week 2, Step 8, WP plugins and API keys. So it's basically, this video is the exact same thing I just showed you in the last 3 minutes. There's the plugins list for WP Fresh Start, and there's the link. You can go grab that. We do make an affiliate commission. Thank you very much. There is an upsell. I think it's for something like some social software. Once again, I've never tested it, so you guys are on your own on that decision. It's untested by me.
Get a resources page.
Maybe, yeah. I try to keep the links with the videos for logicality, but maybe a resource page would be nice too.
Yeah, I can come back and find them later.
Jay Johnson. You've saved 30 minutes of my life recommending WP Fresh Start. 30 minutes of your life each time you set up a blog. At the end of your life, you're going to have like 70 30-minute sessions to do whatever you want with.
And I've got this auto installer that I've been using for years that does all that.
Stuart, I'm not sure of the difference between version 1, version 2, and I think there's even a version 3 now, but I'm not really sure of the difference. Martin says in the last couple of minutes. I'm not sure what that was in reference to, though, Martin. Sorry, dude. After doing this. Thanks, Martin. Says we deserve a little respect. Thank you. Oh, John, you want to see that plugins page again? Yeah, sure. It's not much. Ignore Cornerstone, guys, because that's what my developer used to build. And ignore this sitemap. So I think I put that on there to test something. Let me delete that right now. So it's really only these plugins. Contact Form 7, Google XML Sitemaps. Stat Counter is optional. It's only for collecting stats, which you should definitely be collecting your site stats. Project Supr3Macy, a video sitemap plugin, and this WP Fresh Start would be the first one that you put on to set up all those other ones automatically, but once it's done, yes, you can deactivate and delete it. That's it. That's all I do, guys, for rank and rinse. That's it. It really is. The bonus 5 video goes silent. Okay, I'll have to look into that, Martin. If it does, I'll re-upload that tonight because I have it. Spider Spanker is missing. This is a money site, Steve. Spider Spanker I use on PBN sites. I think you could use Spider Spanker on money sites, though, right?
You can. It will certainly help protect you from, nefarious countries and some Project Honeypot hackers. I usually put Hacker Spanker on all my money sites. That'll stop RFI SQL injections, and that's how people break into your stuff, unless you just have a plugin with a hole in it, which happens as well. But
where is our coaching shit?
All those free security plugins won't save you. You'll just get hacked if they want in. If they use RFI and SQL injections, you're done for, unless you're preventing that. So I wrote a plugin a couple years ago that stops that.
Okay, so that kind of covers everything, even though we kind of went over a bunch of other shit. Guys, how's your? You guys got any questions about anything in week 1 or week 2? Please don't ask support questions about the plugin. If there's a problem with your plugin, send that to the support desk, because we're not gonna try to fix your problems on the call, but we will talk about strategies, shit like that. Is it advisable to use CAPTCHA on WP login? That's a security plugin. That's up to you.
Doesn't hurt.
Be secure. Doesn't hurt.
The best way to do it is have a plugin that renames your WP login, so that when someone hits there, someone tries to go there, they get jack slapped. What Hacker Spanker does. Because you get brute force there, and it'll cause load on your server. Happens all the time. Pain in the ass.
Martin's asking at 537. He picked a keyword according to Google and pulled a 3-pack, so the keyword is good. I'm not quite sure what you mean there, but however, I created a project in Project Supr3Macy and it showed the same keyword, didn't pull any traffic. Are you saying that in the Google AdWords tool it showed good traffic, but in Project Supr3Macy it didn't? Showed different data? Because that would, I'm not sure if that's what you're asking there, Martin. In Google it showed good traffic. Send a support ticket. That's not, if you're getting different data in Project Supr3Macy than you are from the Google AdWords tool, number one, make sure that in the AdWords tool you have the same settings as what's in the plugin. I know this is a little difficult to explain, but in the plugin you can select by country, guys, by default, like what country do you want your data to be displayed for. So if you have a country set in the plugin but you have no country set in Google AdWords, you're going to get different data. And vice versa. If you have no country set in your plugin but you have a country set in Google AdWords, you're going to get different data. So they have to be parallel settings. So make sure of that. If you have parallel settings and you're still getting different data, please submit a support ticket. And we do have some CSV issues, bugs that are being worked on today, guys. Paul saying that the WordPress video worked fine for him just before the webinar. So if it worked for one, it should work for all. It wouldn't just drop volume like that. So I'll double check it though, guys, just in case. Paul's wondering where to get WP overlay. Probably Google it.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's several different versions of it out there. It's just like a light box, but it takes over full screen.
538 Nesta. Do you want to answer that one? It's about Spider Spanker.
Hold on. Yeah, just if should you put Spider Spanker on all your own biz sites? Yeah, you certainly can. Like I said, it does offer its own kind of protection. There are some key features in there that allow you to block, you know, I mean, if your target audience is US or UK or, you know, those kind of countries, then obviously anybody visiting from Russia probably isn't up to anything good for you. You know, that goes for China and Russia and the Middle East are the three biggest hacker hotspots. That's where all the junk comes from. I know I have to deal with servers.
One of the things you could do with Spider Spanker, guys, is you can actually watch the live activity log of people that are hitting your site. And if you see that kind of activity from, say, like China, and you know China, people from Chinese IPs have no real business being in your site, you can actually just block that single IP. If you want to stay open to China, but you want to block obvious bad traffic, you can watch that real-time log. But one thing I'll say about Spider Spanker, guys, super powerful tool. Make sure you train yourself up on it when you use it. It is an amazing tool, but it does come. You gotta watch those training videos, just like Qzx900
Mm-hmm.
Know how to use your shit. Carol, we really should wait until you cover stuff so you don't do it wrong. I don't know. I don't mind people that go out there and test shit and break shit. I just don't like it when they come back and blame me that I didn't advise them otherwise.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do what you want. If you want to do it exactly how I do it, follow exactly along like that, that's cool. Week 1 and 2 is super easy, man, dip. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the whole thing is, I guess I've been doing it a long time. It is easy. Week 1 and 2 is very simple, yes.
And you know, I've heard 2 or 3 people tell me that too as well, that are in the coaching. I'm like, well, you know what? If it were overly complicated, then you'd be mad about that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If we started this, how would you guys like it if we started out this course with cloaking 301 redirects?
Yeah.
Want to go there? You know, then you'd quit and say it's too hard for me. I don't understand. You know, so you know, there's just no happy medium. You know, I mean, you're just gonna have to wait, and then when we get into more advanced stuff, then congratulations. You know, you made it through basic training. But
okay, guys, like kind of what Todd's saying. It's so funny. Ranking a kick-ass keyword number 4 in Google with rich snippets is easy. Okay, but if you haven't been able to do it, I mean, this is the training you need. Even though the training is easy, maybe what's happening, guys, is you've been overloaded with information. Mandip, I'm going to speak with you, especially because you're the one saying it's easy. And I don't know if you mean that in a good way or a bad way or just like kind of a commentary way. But guys, maybe with all the frickin' information that's out there, you've been overtrained and overconfused, and now we're stripping it down to the bare essentials. And it seems so frickin' easy. And I know a lot of people, I mean, I see lots of comments, and I keep saying the comment back to people when they say, well, have you tried this, and have you done that? And it's like, look, I'm showing you what I do that works. And if it seems easy, it's because it's easy. But it works. And that, I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick about that shit. It's just, if you want to get the results I get, do what I do. I'm not saying don't do your own things or not try your own things. I always agree to that. But if you want to get the results I get in the timeline I get them, do what I do, and it will work.
I think Mandip's being more clarifying here. He's like, no, the way we set it up makes it super easy to follow and understand. So,
yeah.
Thank you for that. That's what we were hoping for.
Good.
Because you know, overloading people. You know, I've been on some calls where people just try to say a bunch of shit to confuse you and make them look smart. Right? That ain't helping anybody. That's not doing anyone in the group, you know, anyone any good except this person who's really never done anything but has a lot of theories, is blabbing off a lot of stuff that he's regurgitating. So we're not here to do that at all.
Somebody asked about SEM Agent. You can use it. It's a pretty cool plugin to overlay and put your site up for rent. So like for instance, I took it off, but Spray Foam Edmonton, what I could do is put SEM Agent on it. It's another WordPress plugin that what it would do is put a big banner at the bottom and say this site is for rent, and that way when my competition comes in, looks at it, they can actually rent it right off me. And it's actually a pretty cool idea. It really is. It's another way to early monetize your site. But Paul, no, I don't use it yet. I've always wanted to. I just for some reason haven't. I think it's a great idea. Where am I? I'm lost. Hang on, guys. When researching keywords, can we find out what businesses are paying for AdWords ads? Yeah, Larry, absolutely, man. Just go to Google and, I mean, there's obviously more advanced spy tools for shit like this, but if you're like Edmonton Spray Foam, blah, 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 insulation or installers, whatever, these are all businesses. This JS Spray Foam is paying for advertising. This Free Roofing Estimates is, all these guys are paying for advertising. You could contact any of these businesses if that's kind of what you're getting at. But there are I think what's that tool called that tells you how much you could look like really spy. There's SpyFu and there's SEM Rush. Those are extra tools, guys. That I mean I don't want to tell you to go spend more money on shit, but if you want to spy at a deeper level on your competition, those kind of tools can help you do that. I think that's something that's cool to have once you're making some decent money to start advancing your tool set. Is it a good idea to rename the PS plugin to hide the footprint? No. I mean, it's not a bad idea. It's just we don't do it, and we've never run into issues. We might consider that in the future. Would you consider using Cloudflare? I've never even looked into it. Todd, would you consider using Cloudflare? You probably know way more about it than I do.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Cloudflare is a good way to diversify your IPs. And it's pretty easy to set up. You have to know a little bit about DNS, but it's not that hard at all. I've used it a lot in the past for sure. No problem with it.
Somebody's asking me if there's a free alternative to Moz, and there is. I'm just looking it up. It's on my phone. I'll tell you guys what it was. OpenLinkProfiler.org is kind of like a Moz. I'll go show it to you guys. This is a Moz alternative. I don't think they have the Moz bar and shit like that, but I mean it's another. You know, there's Moz, there's Ahrefs, there's Majestic, and this one's for free. So go ahead and use that if you want. Angelo has left, so we're not going to answer his question. Yes, Stuart, Spider Spanker is the plugin responsible for hiding backlinks and more. Paul, would it be beneficial to use Amazon high-speed servers for hosting versus HostGator? I kind of talked about things like ranking speed as a ranking factor. I don't believe that it's going to, I mean, if you put it on a scale of, you know, here 100% of what it takes to rank a site, keyword research is like a big chunk of that, right? And then on-page is a big chunk of that. I believe schema is now a big chunk of that, and PBNs are a big chunk of that. Site speed maybe is 1% of it. Is it beneficial? It's worth testing though, Paul. Like build 2 sites, one on Amazon, one on HostGator, and see if one ranks faster than the other. I guess I'm not personally, guys. I don't go too worried about things like site speed. Personally, I'm not saying it's not a bad idea. It probably is, but I'm saying it's marginal.
Go to the demo site.
The SB2 demo.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta get this .com out of my browser.
New version. Fixed issue with reviews causing errors in schemas. Yeah, GB had a pretty interesting Well, it was, again, his environment issue, which means, you know, it could happen in other environments, but
Is he on the call?
I don't know. I thought he was. I'm not sure. I don't know if I was reading something from him just before I got on or if I saw his name.
This is the
TB, you
second.
there?
This is the second live coaching webinar where we had a new plugin released live on the webinar. So this is the first time I'm seeing it too, guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty badass.
Fixed issues with reviews. Fixed issues when importing keyword planner CSV files. There's a little bug in there we experienced today. Oh, there it is right there. Improved keyword URL scanning. Updated display. That's.
Yeah, this one was we weren't including the domain in the focus keyword. Now we are.
Oh, right on.
Updated the display of the default. Oh, this is the one I want to see.
Yeah, that's exactly.
This is what we guys. This is what we talked about at the beginning of the webinar. So now we're at the end of the webinar. We're going to show you. That's so cool. Replace checkboxes with switches on schema markup. Good. I like switches.
Yes.
Let's refresh. There it is. So guys, default schemas will now be labeled as such. Default schema. All specific schema to a page will be labeled per page schema. So that means this is not default. This is actually, this particular schema is specific to this page.
That changed. The color changed to blue, right?
No, he didn't change the color yet. Oh yeah, it did.
Yeah, it is.
It's pretty subtle.
Yeah. It is.
We're gonna have to get him to change it even more. So there is a color change as well, guys. So so that you know. Now you're gonna know the difference between when you're looking at your pages. What is the default schema? What is per page?
And what we're talking about there, you know, is if you have, typically you have your home page, your about us page, your contact us page, you know, your about me page, same thing. You know, you're probably going to want a default schema on those pages, and there probably may be some other pages that you want the same default on, or you want default on every single one of them, but then you've got two that are specific to some other city, and you want to change the city on that page, so it'll be a per page schema change. And now you kind of got a more of a visual representation of what's going on there, because some people were getting confused. I think they were making some mistakes, and they were doing their sites some harm, perhaps. So, cool.
Mr. Radu gave us a cool site to check out, guys. I've never seen it myself, but I'll tell you about it. Whatrunswhere.com.
Oh yeah, that's definitely.
Check that out if you want. Whatrunswhere.com. Thanks, Radu.
Yeah. Tell you who's advertising where.
Send that to all. Did I put that in the public links? Did you guys get that link?
It says all.
Okay, cool. See you, Cedric. Where's the PS members training? An explanation for keyword research for a money site. Where in the Project Supremacy members training is the explanations? It's in the videos, dude. Go to projectsupremacy.com, training, and then it is projects. Oh, I better log in. I'll just show you. Because I did change it a little bit because there was just too many YouTube videos on a single page. Who's asking this question? Martin. Hopefully you're still on, Martin. Oh, shit.
Yes. Martin's always on.
Martin's on every Webby. Martin here, buddy.
Martin's everywhere.
Creating projects and keyword research. It is the third drop down. So if you go into here and you put on these, watch these videos like importing keywords, organizing keywords in groups, and creating groups from existing pages. Watch get keyword data. Watch on-page optimization. All these videos are kind of going to give you more information.
I like that new layout.
Yeah, it's way better. It's just faster.
Mm-hmm.
And there's comments for every page now too, so you guys can come and yell at us in there. And we will not delete you when you yell at us. Thanks, Jay. He says he loves how fast we fix shit.
Yeah, I saw that.
The word count on the keyword density. Graham, we were kind of playing with that, and I think there was issues like if you copy and paste an article in for that keyword density, but if you actually like type it in, it was kind of good. Or press refresh, save it and press refresh. We'll look at it some more and kind of try to break it, but it was actually working pretty good. Hussein, we did actually add products. Are we going to add more? Yes. I think you said that. Will you be adding more schemas such as products above the business review video? Yeah, well, I mean, we're always going to add more. The products one is for you affiliate people, and I'll probably create a training for this and put this on my sites, but it's, I mean, for anyone that's selling affiliate shit, fill out that product stuff and put some aggregate review ratings on there, and use your review widget to get people to start putting real reviews into your product pages. And that's going to help. Affiliate's just a tougher beast, guys, than local. But we'll continue to add as we see shit.
Okay, we're almost at the end of the rope here, so if you've got any burning question that you've got to have answered now or you're going to be mad at us, then please restate it.
I'm going to answer quick. I'm at 554 with Brian, or Boyd.
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
Okay, have you talked about using one website with the pages to rent the same niche so that you have blogs or articles that can be used for all? I'm not quite sure I understand that question. Oh shit. Boyd, I do know this. Like that spray foam site, for instance, is a 5-page site, and it's going to be rented out to one company, and there's no blog, there's no posts. Because the way I look at things, people ask what's the difference between a post and a page, and I just look at it very simply like this. I think of the word web page, right? So I want to build a page for my website, web page, and then blog post. I use posts to build a blog. So there's no blog going on here. I'm actually building a website which needs web pages, so I use all pages. It's kind of the way I look at it. Maybe I oversimplify things. I don't know. If I'm just starting with this, should I start with the videos? Paul, yes. Both, Paul. 6-week coaching videos are more in depth into what's called the rank and rent method, and then we're going to go into like some PBN stuff later on. But to learn how to use Project Supremacy, you're going to want to watch these videos. This training up here is specific training on how to use Project Supremacy, not how to build an affiliate site or stuff like that, but how to use the plugin. And then from there, it's the coaching is more in depth of the rank and rent strategy. And then we have Q&A, this webinars thing, guys. I mean, we can cover more stuff about affiliate sites. I know a lot of people want to cover really the affiliate site shit. And guys, I'll tell you from my experience, affiliate sites is good keyword research and good page organization. That's how I did that tempered glass site. And then I have some other ones that I'm really not sure if I want to show. They're about to start making money, so I kind of want to show them, but I kind of don't. You guys have been pretty awesome, though, so I'll think about it really hard. Any news on a mobile site builder? Not yet, Graham. Mandip, I think you're both on a mission for something big. Unfortunately, we few have associated with you. Thank you so much, man.
Mm-hmm.
Ratings, how to do and get them. Carol, that is yours. Go to your training and watch the go to schema markup and watch these 4 videos, okay? That's how you're going to get your ratings, your rich snippets, okay? So watch the schema markup videos. Reviews, yeah. It's called aggregate reviews. Thomas, I'm installing Project Supremacy on an old site that has a good ranking, but I want to add new stuff and more pages. Project Supremacy is asking me to import settings from all-in-one. Will I lose my rankings from my currently ranking pages if I do this? Thomas, if you import from all-in-one, do not delete all-in-one, and if anything goes wrong, you can reactivate all-in-one and all your titles and descriptions will stay in place. So just, if you really want to be safe, take a backup of your entire WordPress blog, and if shit tanks, restore the backup.
Yeah.
But you should be fine to import from all-in-one as long as you do not deactivate all-in-one. I mean, sorry, I shouldn't say don't deactivate. Deactivate it after you, okay, step 1, import over to Project Supremacy. Step 2, deactivate all-in-one. Then now you have to make a decision. If your rankings don't tank, you're okay to delete all-in-one if you want to. If your rankings do tank, turn back on your all-in-one because there's something wrong with your titles. They changed, so you got to figure that out. But before you do anything, take a backup of your site. That's the safest thing you guys can all do before making big changes. And Project Supremacy sometimes is a big change. Abdul, I know you're making a suggestion for hiding links from Google. I'm going to check that out, but Project Supremacy also does that. We do hide links. So I'm not going to mention what you mentioned until I check it out because Project Supremacy does it. How would I best recommend to use Project Supremacy with AdSense? M. Johnson, I mean, AdSense is a game of a lot of traffic with high CPC words, as far as I know. I mean, we know guys that make a lot of money, and we probably will talk to those guys, but AdSense is simple. You want to make a lot of money in AdSense, you need to run a lot of traffic, so you need to pick really high keywords with like as low competition as possible and rank them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no real difference there than an affiliate site. You need to really build a good site, interlink it, pick the right keywords, do the right optimization, and then backlink it to get it ranked, and then you'll make money AdSense. Nesta, my list of things to do, okay, is kind of the 4-step process that I use in general. Number 1, good keyword research. Number 2, good on-site optimization. Number 3, schema. Number 4, PBNs. Martin, can you target 4 keywords in an article? Yeah, why not? If they're all 4 similar keywords. If you're trying to rank for red, blue socks, yellow socks, green socks, I would personally have 4 different pages. If you're trying to rank for red socks, socks that are red, socks that are kind of red, and socks, you know, my favorite color is red socks, that's 1 page.
Yeah.
So you can rank for multiple keywords as long as it's you know, saying the same shit in a different way. How are we doing for time here? We're past.
Yeah, we're 5 over, but we're almost at the end here.
Yeah, we're almost at the end. Okay, guys, we're going to cut off the questions here. We'll answer what's left, but that's it. Answered that one. How would one go about getting one-on-one coaching from me? Unfortunately, Caleb, I just don't offer one-on-one coaching anymore. I'm just so busy with things. It's really tough.
We're busy one-on-one coaching each other. Hey, what about this? What about that? What about this?
You know what, guys? I'll tell you this. If you guys want to get one-on-time with Todd or I, and this is the way I did it, because, I mean, 2 years ago, I really didn't. I saw all these guys that I looked up to, and I wanted to get one-on-one time with them, and how I did it was I got really good at what I did to the point that when I went and talked to them, I had something to show them that was really amazing that I knew that would, like, kind of, hey, man, you got to see this, or even something to teach them, you know what I mean? So if you guys get yourself in that position, go work your butt off, and then one day when you're like, hey, Herc, I want to show you how to rank for Viagra within 3 weeks, I'm going to listen. But unfortunately, sorry, dude, I can't do one-on-one coaching right now. Maybe later. If I install PS on a site which have pages, can I import the pages and post in project? Yes, Ashraf, yes, you can. I'll show you that really quickly. So, guys, anybody that has a site with existing pages on it, but you'd like to get it into the projects, go to projects, add new project. We're going to call this backwards, whatever. It doesn't matter what you call it. You could call it anything. All right. And then this button right here, add a group from an existing page. I'm going to click this, and it's going to ask me what page do I want to create a group from. So these are all the existing pages. So let's pick Phoenix and click on Add Groups. And then you can see it pulled in the title, the URL, the description, and the H1 that's on that page. So from here, I know that this is the existing optimization that I have. Now I can add keywords, or I can mess around with this shit if I want to change it up. But what I would do with this kind of information, guys, is analyze the optimization that you have on your page, add the keywords in here that you're trying to rank for. So in this case, I would do something like Phoenix Vapor House, you know, HIUS, or whatever and then get all the competition data. So you're almost doing this backwards because the page already exists, but it's going to give you information like if you see a keyword that you didn't realize maybe has good search and is low competition, you can then edit your on-site optimization based on what you see from keyword research. So it's kind of backwards, but it does exist. James, you noticed that your server overloaded once you turned on Project Supr3Macy on several sites.
I don't really see how that's possible because it's not doing anything unless you're requesting it to take an action.
You'd have to submit a ticket, James. Once again, how do we know it's not your server? How do we know it's not 100 plugins?
Yeah, that's something very unique to you.
Yeah.
I mean, if that were a problem, then it would be fixed. Because obviously that can't happen.
Next, this is going to be the last question, guys, and then we're going to have to end it.
I have one question after that. Go ahead.
Okay, so she's just, yeah, your voice is really cracky, Todd. It's like your battery's dying on your mic or something. Where do we get our content, guys? Project Supr3Macy articles. We have two services that you can order articles from, I Need Articles or iWriter. And what you would do is just order you have to go get the API key for these services, and then you have to fund these accounts. But this just means you don't have to go to ineedarticles.com or iWriter.com to get your articles into your blog anymore. You can do it right from within Project Supr3Macy.
How do I sound now? Do I sound okay?
No, you sound like a monster.
I have a really good question. My question.
What question?
This is the final question. If you can understand me, repeat this. I want to know how many times. Everyone, take a guess on how many times Herc said the word shit.
I don't know if you guys heard that. His question was, does anybody know how many times I have said the word shit? Did you count today?
I lost count. More than anybody else.
Do I say shit a lot?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good drinking game. 30 plus.
That's right. Next time, we're all going to bring something to drink, and every time you say shit, we're all going to take a drink.
Oh, my God. All right, guys. Well, this shit webinar is over. Shitting time to go have a shitting beer. I quit smoking, so I'm a little shitty right now.
All right, guys. Everyone, have a good evening. We'll see you next week. Video 3s are available.
Oh, yeah, video 3s are up.
Threes are up.
I know it's hard to hear, bud.
Bye, guys. See you.
Bye-bye, guys.